We are back in Hong Kong, and there is so much to do, see, and eat. We will give you a view from all angles. Then we head into the kitchen to give you a traditional British cocktail, and it's not too sweet or too strong.
Prompting Susan to be possessed by I Dream of Jeannie before we get you ready for March Madness Vegas style.
Undercover Jetsetter is slam dunking its way onto your screen.
And cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Welcome for being here. Inventive Drinks, we're going to tell you about it because guess where we are?
We are in.
That's so good.
We are in Hong Kong.
One of our favorite cities, and we are actually at the Peak. You got to see this view that we have. Unfortunately, we can't put it behind us because of the lighting, but take a look at this view that we have here, and it's absolutely spectacular. We are above and looking down at Hong Kong.
And you are going to love it when you come here, and you have to come here when you visit Hong Kong. The Peak is a must. Now, we're going to get to that in just a second, but we have a jam-packed show for you, so let's get going.
So we will stay up in the clouds here in Hong Kong so you can see what a grandeur this city is.
Now, its full name is Victoria Peak since it overlooks Victoria Harbor, but locals simply call it the Peak.
And you get more than just a peek here. Check out these panorama shots.
Now, you need to spend time at the Sky Terrace.
Late afternoon can be crowded since people love to come up here to see the sunsets.
Now, there is plenty of shopping, fun activities, food, and drink as well. We hit Fujiyama Mama.
First, these inventive drinks. The first is the ciderita with apple cider literally injected into the blend. We chose the mango blend, and it's perfect for a warm day.
Now, next, the Potato Margarita with tequila and sochu, which is a vodka, in this case, distilled from potatoes. It's a smooth martini rimmed with salt.
The sushi was, naturally, especially fresh. This was Tuna Mania that presented us with 4 different types of tuna.
And the salmon hand roll was also very fresh, delicious, and super creamy.
Notice the blend of these cuisines. We'll explore that Hong Kong phenomena further when we hit the ground.
But first, let's talk about how we got up here.
We took the Peak tram. If this is your first time, do this.
Now, it's a steep ride on this funicular. Now, try to be seated on the ocean side, which will be on the right, to get some good shots.
You can also take a taxi or the bus.
And for all of you in great shape, you can hike it in about an hour and a half.
Next, we stay in the air and jet off to mid-levels.
Now, this is an amazing series of escalators called travelators, which pull you up from the ground level of Hong Kong Central District into the rising hills, streets, and neighborhoods of this unique district called mid-levels.
It covers more than 2,600 feet, rising more than 443 feet, all by stairs and escalators.
Now, the escalators are reversed at various times of the day, like early morning when people are heading down towards work or heading home at night after partying.
Unless you have bad knees and you can't take downward walks, the descent is not difficult or too steep.
No, that's right, and we did it. It's actually good exercise to burn off all the meals you will enjoy here.
That's right. And a good tip, when you come to mid-levels, make this your only destination for that day.
That's right. You will find yourself here longer than you expect because there is so much to explore.
The architecture is fascinating and varied. Take a look at this brick building with a pink tint.
Yeah, that's right. It's at least 40 plus stories, an apartment complex that, well, kind of looks like a pencil.
The construction of this outside escalator and walkway system started in 1993 and created a boom of shops, restaurants, and entertainment. And it all could capture your heart and rule your entire stay here.
You will also understand why this area draws Hong Kong's expat community. Now later we'll talk about what you need if you want to live here.
Mid-Levels embraces the entire world when it comes to cuisine, from Europe, North America, South America, Asia, and the Middle East. You name it, it is here.
Now we dove into Linguine Fini, an Italian restaurant known for its fresh-made pasta.
The Char Carbonara was true Italian with a Chinese twist. The black pepper-infused pasta keeps tradition with only Parmesan and egg yolks. No lazy cream adding here. This is a true carbonara.
Yeah, but here's the local flair. Instead of bacon found in traditional carbonara, they use the Asian Char Siew pork.
It is a brilliant combo, and it's also a meal you would go back to again and again. 2 drinks also complemented the meal and the warm day.
Now, the south side is deliciously simple with gin, lemon, mint, and soda. We would suggest this light the light before the meal.
Then, before or with the meal, or even after as a digestive, try the Aperol Spritz. The Aperol is mixed with Prosecco, soda, and orange.
Well, we'll keep you up in the air just a little bit longer.
You should also try the Hong Kong observation wheel. Like we showed you in London, Vegas, and DC, these giant Ferris wheels are a great intro to get the lay of the land.
And the views are spectacular.
One of the things that makes Hong Kong so alluring is how much the living of life goes on here.
Yeah, it's all about the passion. Now, we're in the Causeway Bay section at a local record store. That's right, a record store that has a live music venue, too.
A local friend brought us to HMV Live. We rocked out with his friend's local band, Bass Conflict, which covered traditional rock from the 70s and 80s, along with some blues.
We love how the performers and the audience blend. Now, these gals, who call themselves the Hong Kong Supremes, collaborated on stage, making the evening more memorable.
Then we headed out, only to find another group creating their own street flash mob.
It was mesmerizing and life-affirming, and this is just another day in the life of Hong Kong.
You get the feel that people in Hong Kong don't just live life. They grab it, hug it, and love it with all they have.
And that's why Hong Kong latches on to so many people around the world, maybe even you.
When we come back, we will look at how to vacation here, eat here, and even live here.
Now, we told you there was a lot to cover, so stay tuned for what's next. Sure, Hong Kong is a bustling city, and you always want to be aware of your surroundings when you travel.
But this is a safe and relaxing environment, which allows you to relax and enjoy all Hong Kong has to offer.
It's also a great people-watching town. Notice the combination of cultures and nationalities that either live or visit here.
You see it clearly in Lan Kwai Fong, also known as LKF.
Now, during the day, tourists and locals battle cars for walking space. At night, the cars are gone, and everyone is free to walk and enjoy the party.
Just don't drink too much and roll down this steep hill, though. Here, the melting pot of Hong Kong is alive in the cuisine.
At the Divino Wine Bar, we downed this Italian Pinot Grigio and this Australian Chardonnay.
Both were light and crisp, perfect for a hot, humid day.
Now, the melting pot effect was a few doors down at Ding Dim 1968, a dim sum spot that you should hit.
We tried a number of dishes, and they were not expensive by any stretch.
Now, this eggplant was superb. If you're an eggplant fan, get this.
Here is the fried dumpling with shrimp and foie gras. That's right. It is liver pâté, a Frenchman's favorite, and ours too. It was superb.
Now, you could taste the rich but subtle flavor of the pâté that complemented the shrimp with a crispy crust.
And what was even better was this pork, shrimp, and black truffle shumai.
That's right. This hits a foodie right in the heart of your palate.
Both of these dishes explain the embrace of the world in Hong Kong cuisine.
Food in Hong Kong is a combination of every culture from everywhere, so that's the beauty of it, and the magic is that you can have anything you want wherever you want it, and it's always going to combine beautiful flavors together that are really not necessarily found anywhere else, but that really is the sign of great cooking and great food, and that's why it's all here in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong also attracts celebrity chefs, like one of our favorites, Gordon Ramsay.
We head to Bread Street Kitchen, and Gordon does not disappoint.
Now, located in the LKF Tower, Bread Street Kitchen is a modern and cool place that features many of Gordon's classics.
We started with a bright gin and tonic from the Gordon Recommends section.
And of course, there is a delicious bread at Bread Street and creamy butter dusted with sea salt.
Then we settled in for the beef Wellington for two. It's delivered in perfect fashion, medium rare and tasty, with a puff pastry that tucks a delectable mushroom duxelle underneath.
Allow 45 minutes for the Wellington to be prepared for you. And for dessert, well, we can't resist Gordon's sticky toffee pudding with clotted cream.
Rich and decadent, this incredibly delicious dessert will fill your senses with glee.
Now, another place is the Fish Bar at the JW Marriott, and you don't have to be a guest to be there.
We had two of their cocktails. The first was a lemongrass mojito with Bacardi lemongrass infused rum. It was light and fresh, perfect for the tropics.
The second was a dark rum ginger flower with rum, elderflower, ginger beer, Campari, and bitters. This hit many palate spots, sweet, fruity, and dry, with a touch of bitterness. This is a foodie hit.
And so are these oysters. They were flown in from France, but you wouldn't know it based on how incredibly fresh they are.
Then we dove into the Barramundi, a hearty whitefish from Australia. It was moist with a crisp crust.
For the most part, you cannot get this in the United States, so if you are here, we suggest you give it a try.
Now, we stay at the JW Marriott, and we highly suggest it.
If you're a rewards member, make sure you gain access to the executive lounge on the 33rd and 34th floors.
That's right, you can enjoy breakfast, snacks, and a great range of wines and cocktails, plus food in the evening.
We even whipped up a new cocktail for you here called the Kong Hatton.
Now, in honor of the melting pot, we blended bourbon, Jack Daniels in this case, with Cointreau, plus a lychee liqueur, 2 squeezes of fresh lime, and tonic water.
Go to undercoverjetsetter.com/mixology for the recipe. A great late night sip. You're welcome.
The only danger here at the JW Marriott is that it pampers you so much that you might not want to leave and explore the rest of Hong Kong.
That's true. The JW Marriott is right in the middle of Hong Kong Island at the Admiralty exit for the MTR, so it is very easy to access all of the island.
Now, taking the subway or MTR here is easy. Don't worry about getting it wrong. Feel free to ask questions and get guidance from friendly experts.
Getting around with taxis is also easy. Beware though, sometimes they may refuse to take you for 2 reasons.
Now, the first is the ride is not far enough for them to make enough money.
The second is they are near the end of their shift and they will want a fare that is heading in the direction of where they live.
Now, Uber is available as well as Grab, which is similar to Lyft. You can link it up to your credit card in the same way as Lyft or Uber.
Just remember that if you're using the cash option, they will only take Hong Kong dollars.
And there's more in this great city that will never disappoint. In fact, it might be calling you. As usual, we ask, could you live here?
If you love the hustle and bustle of a city that is always offering something new to explore, including the biggest variety of food, then go for it.
Also know that Hong Kong is not cheap where rent is concerned. To live here, at a minimum, you'll need about $7,000 US a month. Half of that will take up your apartment rent for a small pad.
In other words, the stuff in your 4-bedroom house in the US is not coming with you. That being said, you can eat very cheaply here.
That's right. Hong Kong allows for some amazing cheap eats, as only Hong Kong can.
We hit this noodle house, Chim Chai Kee Noodle, and got noodles with double wonton.
And the noodles are homemade and out of this world. And the shrimp wonton are fresh as they can be here in Hong Kong and very tasty.
The broth is savory and earthy, a palate delight. Now this is a must-hit place. We got this entire meal that we shared for just $3.50 USD.
Be sure to bring Hong Kong dollars with you when you visit some of the local places.
Some do take credit cards, but there may be an additional fee.
Another thing to consider is the slow transition to government rule by the People's Republic of China.
Many locals tell us there is a gradual movement over the upcoming decades to a new kind of government control.
Now that is leading many Hong Kong folks to stay but get dual citizenship from other countries like the US, Canada, or Australia.
Do some reading and research for yourself before you make a big move.
For visitors like us, though, not much has changed outwardly in Hong Kong.
In fact, it only seems to get better.
And when we come back, we're here in Hong Kong, so we're going to go into the kitchen for you.
It's a drink, and it comes from the former colonial ruler of Hong Kong.
And welcome back. We are still here in Hong Kong, and you can definitely feel the British feel here in Hong Kong, even though Hong Kong is now owned and run by the Chinese.
That's right. And so in commemoration of that, we thought you would give you a British classic. All right, everybody, we have something very mysterious for you today. And it is called Pimm's #1 cup. And we're going to show you the best way to drink it. And you did some research on the internet because there's kind of a mystery behind what is actually in here. Nobody really knows to this day.
And it was created by Mr. Pimm, who was a British restaurateur back in the 19th century. And he had his own oyster house, and he wanted to come up with a drink that would be a digestive. So this has got a gin base to it, and we don't know what's in it because it is kind of mysterious. But there's actually some great history behind the drink.
And it's gorgeous too. It's got all this yummy fruit in it, cucumbers, apples, mint, oranges. So it's really fresh and delicious. Summer, spring, perfect. I'm just adding some fruit into there for us. That is for you.
Okay, great.
Oh, you smell all the fruit and the mint. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, it's delicious.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And not real heavy.
So simple to make too, and it's really yummy. I mean, this is a great aperitif and digestive after your dinner too. I would drink it both.
So let's see how we made it. Now, what's interesting about the history of this is that it was very popular all the way up until like around the 1970s, and then for some reason it just kind of died off. And then it picked up again in the 80s and 90s. And if you go to Wimbledon, and if you're at this tennis championship, they sell about 40,000 pints of this.
During a 2-week period, right?
Yeah. But when you drink this, and not that London gets hot, but for them it's hot, I can see where this is a perfect summertime drink.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And during a tennis match, I mean, it's so Prim and Pimm. It's very nice. And you know what's cool? On the bottle, you'll see where it kind of shows you all the years that it was in these different places. It started in Constantinople, and then Peking, which is now Beijing, and then Kuala Lumpur in 1890, and it continues on. Even has a history in New Orleans. So it's very exciting and kind of fun to drink, and I love the flavor. I mean, we'll have another segment too, where we actually are going to mix this with a different bubbly other than ginger ale.
So very good. By the way, I get a chance to drink this with I Dream of Jeannie. So. Nice.
Well, and I'm not going to call you
like
master if that's what you're thinking, just so you know.
But if you want like this, then we could end the segment.
No, she has to do, it's this. You have to do the arm fold.
See what I'm saying?
Did you not watch the show?
See what I'm saying?
Cheers to your health.
Here, Pimm's #1. That was good, but your I Dream of Jeannie hair really didn't work.
Oh, yeah? So, I just transported John to Las Vegas. That's coming up next, March Madness.
Wow, that was a quick ride to Vegas. Boy, I tell you, you've got to go to Vegas, though, especially when you're getting ready for March Madness.
That's right. It is the one place where you can see all of the games for the NCAA tourney.
If you love college hoops, then do March Madness in Vegas at least once.
Bring a group of friends and take in that first weekend when all 64 teams play in 4 days.
There's nothing like it. The madness grabs the town and every establishment on and off the strip.
It is, because this first weekdays, whatever you want to call it, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this place is explosive. I mean, there's just people that are trying to hang out and can't get in. We have to take other places and make them outlets for sports books. So we try to accommodate everybody coming in, but it's really, really difficult. So for 4 days, they call it madness, and I kind of think that the first 4 days is interpreted by that term madness.
Johnny Avello is a legend in Vegas, running the Wynn Sportsbook and making March Madness happen.
Now, he has some tips. First, book early. That means your flight, your room, and your seat at a sports book.
Well, first of all, call ahead of time to make your reservation for a seat. Not for a room reservation, but that's also a good idea. But for a seat, because what's happened now in town is all the seats are taken up by the time you get here.
But if you're a spur-of-the-moment person, no worries. Casinos can make other arrangements for you.
Now, what we did this year, which will accommodate you even if you come in late, is we opened up our Encore showroom, which is a wonderful spot to watch the games. It's like watching a movie, but you're watching games. And we're able to accommodate everybody that's coming in late that didn't make reservations. But if you want to see in the book itself, you need to call early.
Okay, but in the showroom, you actually have bedding set up there. You have food, and you have all those screens, so it's just as good, right?
It is, and that theater can hold 1,200 people. So that's why we don't sell it out, but we sure get close.
Okay.
Next tip, learn about betting basketball before you come out.
Well, first of all, the handicapping part is something that we probably have to sit down for a while so we can, give you a tutorial on how to handicap college basketball.
But knowing how to bet doesn't mean you're able to physically place a bet, which leads to another tip.
The biggest tip I can give someone is that the lines are really long to bet. So when you open up a mobile app on your phone. And so therefore you can bet from anywhere in the state of Nevada and never have to get in line. And all the betting lines are at your fingertips.
Now, even if you're a visitor and you're not a Nevada resident?
Correct.
Really? Now, I thought it was just for Nevada residents.
No, anybody that's within those state boundaries. And what a lot of people have done now, we've had the app for a few years, is they've opened up an app. They've taken their money out when they left to go back to their home state. When they came out again, the app's, what you do is reload it again. You're ready to go. You don't have to go through the whole process to sign up.
So if I went back to the Carolinas, I couldn't use it there. I can only use it in state here, right?
That is correct.
That means you can bet anywhere within Nevada. So if you don't want the crowds of the Strip, maybe you can hit a sports bar like Montana Meat and visit our buddy Fish.
And speaking of great food and drinks, don't forget to make dinner reservations ahead of time, too.
Now we've got a ton more information on March Madness on our blog.
Yeah, just go to the blog on undercoverjetsetter.com, and it is January 14th, 2018. We spell out a lot of stuff there for you that'll also be helpful to you.
And let us know your tips for Las Vegas or anywhere else for March Madness. We'd love to hear it.
Just let us know. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and we're on YouTube, and undercoverjetsetter.com, so let us know.
And we have been coming to you from the Peak, a must-see in Hong Kong, and we are at...
We're at
what's
this
the name of the restaurant?
The restaurant is called Margarita Mama.
Yeah, Fujiyama Mama. And thank you, Fujiyama Mama, for giving us such great hospitality. We appreciate you and your great food and cocktails.
And the great view as well, and thank you for allowing me to mangle your name, as I always do. So.
Cheers.